faith. A little. Some of
little.
it.
You gotta have faith. Hi, welcome to Never Show the Monster. My name is Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander, and we are psyched to be back.
Yeah, we're back.
We had originally decided to do a Girls Just Want to Have Fun series the last time we talked to you guys a couple years ago, but we have pivoted. We have since pivoted, and we're just really excited about a lot of the horror movies coming out. So we're going to focus on new releases for the time being, and we'll probably pepper in some fun stuff in between or after some of them. Well, we'll see how everything goes. We're going to go with the feeling, but we're going to go with it because we're back, baby.
We're back, baby. Yes, we are being guided by vibes and the box office right now.
Yeah. Both wonderful.
Wonderful.
I don't know. The box office on some of the ones we're going to watch might not be pretty.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I guess the box office, we always talk about it in terms of money, but it also is like where you just go to buy tickets.
That's true. As somebody who worked at a movie theater, I forgot that.
It's not how people think of it anymore, at least in the movie business.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's telling us what's coming out sometimes. Sometimes it's not super clear on the date. Anyway, we don't need to get hung up on details right
changes.
now.
Yeah.
Changes a lot.
So we'll try to tell you what our next one is, because I think that those are going to be the more for sure dates. I got really emotional talking about that. Sorry, everyone. So the closer to the dates, we'll probably tell you our next one. I don't know if we'll tell you all, but if it's a pretty big horror movie coming out, we'll probably watch it. If it's an interesting looking horror movie coming out, we'll probably watch it.
Yeah, baby.
And yeah, so then we're going to talk today about two movies. One of them is new. One of them is old.
Ish.
Yeah, not really.
I would also say 3 movies, because there's another one I want to talk about. And that one is older, 90s, 91 maybe.
Oh, okay. So is this going to... Okay, I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, surprise. Surprise!
Oh, I'm not prepared.
Surprise, bitch! That Emma Roberts meme. Yeah, today we're talking about primarily Late Night with the Devil, which at the time of this recording is in theaters. And it is crushing the box office. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's made $9 million so far.
And it had a very small budget, right? What was the budget?
It's rumored to be less than $2 million.
Good job,
that's bonkers.
guys.
Yeah.
It had a bazillion studios attached to it.
I know. Yeah, anyway, the reason I mentioned that is because it'll probably still be in theaters when this is released. So if it is, I'm giving it a high recommendation.
For sure. Same here. I really love the movie theater experience with it. So
yes, I agree.
It will probably also be on Shudder by the time this comes out. And I would recommend, if it's still in theaters, go for the theater.
That's always our recommendation. But this is one where you can watch it at home. Like, it's not like Dune where you need to see the big worm as big as possible, right? Like, although there are some worms you might want to see in Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, there are.
Whole mess of them.
I like how I'm going back and forth on feeling comfortable and uncomfortable about that.
Oh, I think that's the correct feeling.
Yeah.
And then the other ones we're going to talk about are The Cleansing Hour.
Yes.
Which, do you remember what year that came out?
2019.
2019. Mm-hmm. And then the one I have watched and love is Ghostwatch, which is also fun. And all 3 of these movies have the same essential conceit, which is that we are doing some sort of live broadcast. With Late Night with the Devil, it's a live late night talk show. And with The Cleansing Hour, it's a live web show. And with Ghostwatch, it's a live news hour.
Oh, okay.
And in all 3, the subject of what is being streamed is paranormal, specifically in the first 2, including Late Night with the Devil, demonic in nature. We're talking Exorcist style stuff. And then I guess, you know, it's unclear what happens in Ghostwatch at the end.
Okay. Okay.
It's presented as
Good
ghosts,
to know.
which you might suspect from the name.
Ghostwatch. Yeah.
Yeah. But then things go off the rails. So I guess here's the risk with doing newer movies is we're going to spoil these.
We are going to spoil them.
So
should we put like timestamps for whenever we switch movies in case?
I think that's a good idea. I will put that in the show description.
Sweet.
Show notes. What do we call them? Show notes. Show notes.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
Shows.
I remember stuff. Yeah. So that you can jump around. Late Night with the Devil is, I think, my favorite of the... I don't know. It's a real Sophie's choice. Don't make me choose. Don't make me choose.
Okay. So I had texted you and I was like, hey, could we also watch The Cleansing Hour? What I didn't tell you was that I had already watched it because I watched it immediately after I got home from watching Late Night with the Devil. Because
fun.
I was like, that movie was so good. I want to keep this vibe going.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have nothing to do right now. I might do some laundry and fold some clothes. But I was like, oh, yeah, The Cleansing Hour. That was the other one. And I was like, oh, it might not be good. I was wrong.
I think that I told you that it wasn't good. I maybe told our listeners that it wasn't good.
Based on the cover, I probably would have paused on thinking it would be good.
Yeah. But
so that might be part of it.
I don't know. I must have just been in a bad mood the first time I watched it because it whips also.
I feel like it could go the wrong way, but if I had to push a double feature on anyone, I would say watch these two movies back to back because the fun that I had that day was like something I will be chasing for quite a while.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh. And then I was like, she says, no, that's fine. We don't have to do The Cleansing Hour. But man, I want to talk about this movie so bad.
Yeah. And so I watched The Cleansing Hour and Ghostwatch back to back in one sitting.
I need to watch that.
I had a great time. Both of those I had seen before. Obviously, Late Night with the Devil is a new one. Do we want to... Let's start with Late Night with the Devil.
Yes, I think we should.
So we mentioned that this one is a late night talk show style presentation. This is, I think, technically a found footage movie. Yes. Yeah. Which is weird to think about because it's like show within a show. So the movie opens presenting the footage from the late night show as like, here's the unaired footage, or here's what was aired in addition to some unaired stuff from the original recording.
Like a documentary talking about the host of the show and what he's been through and everything. And then it goes into, this is what was found.
Yeah. Does it close out telling you what happened to the host? Jack Delroy is the name of the host. I don't think so. I think it ends with
the end is kind of ambiguous as well.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't really get, I mean, it bodes well, but it doesn't bode well. And there is a line in it. But because this was a theater experience, I didn't write it down and I do not remember it completely. But it talked about like something about being like remembered and like only gods are remembered, or only like it had to be something like extreme had to happen for you to be remembered. And I was like, well, if that's the point, then that is successful. But if that's like I don't know.
But there wasn't like a documentary style wrap up that's like,
no,
and he passed away in the psych asylum. Like,
was there anything in the credits or after credits?
I did stick not around.
Damn.
I usually do, but there were shitheads in my theater.
That's the same. So that is what we had to start recording to talk about.
Yes. Oh my God.
So I walked into the theater. I still wear a mask. I am one of, I think, very few people in the area that wear it. I know somebody else who does, and I really appreciate her. And that goes out to one of our listeners. And because it's not like, we all know, it's not always for me. And it's for the people around me. I am around people who are either sick all the time or could have complications from getting sick. Anyway, don't need a disclaimer. But I walked in with a mask. I also walked in with a large popcorn.
Yeah, got
so
to.
I get how contradictory that looks for a second. But 90% of the time, if I go inside of a public place, I will be wearing a mask. I will take it off to eat my food, and then I will put it back on. That is how I live my life. So I walk in, and I have a mask and a large popcorn. And there are 3 people. This is a very small theater. I don't know if you also experience small theater. Like, it's a horror movie that's not really well known. That's probably going to get small theater.
Yep.
And the guys in front of me started talking about how, like, it was a power move or something to have a giant popcorn and a mask on. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's offensive. I don't know if I should be offended or upset.
They specifically called out both things?
Yes. Huh. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and then the guy had talked about how he hadn't been in a theater. I just eavesdropped on their conversation. It's just me and these 3 people alone in this theater.
I mean, if they're going to talk about you, you get to listen to them. Yeah, might as well
eavesdrop on them. They had been saying stuff about horror movies that I was like, I would love to correct them right now, but I do not have the time or energy, and I don't want to be a bitch because it's like the girl with the mask and the large popcorn is also a bitch. I don't want to combine all those things right now.
Damn, another power move.
And I just... but they had, so I don't know. They just assumed I couldn't hear them. The mask was over my ears, I guess. I don't know. They weren't directly talking to me, but they were talking loud enough about me that I could hear them. So immediately I'm put off and I'm like, no. Oh, and then it didn't help. Halfway through the popcorn, I lost one of my Invisalign nubbins, which is also why I have a lisp now in this when we record, which I will talk more in depth about on the Mouth Guard Report in our other podcast. But in this
Debut Buddy is a podcast about first. Check it out.
I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about that. But yeah, I still loved my experience watching it.
Yeah.
Movie theater experience, always great. And I thought about exactly how, like, if I watched it on a TV, would I experience it differently because it's supposed to be a late night show? Like, what if I had watched this movie at night, treating it like it was a late night show? Would that be a better experience?
I'm going to rewatch it like that. I can tell you that much.
with that theme. I was trying to think of, like, if there would be, but I just love watching movies in theaters, and this was a great one to watch.
You know what, though? This did have the perfectly square aspect ratio.
Oh, like the old. Oh my God, I didn't even notice that.
I don't know why I did.
I'm spacey.
But when I noticed it, I was like, I wish that I had been prepared for it, because I don't know if the documentary portion at the beginning was like that. I suspect not, and that it shifted for the footage from the 70s. That makes sense. Wait, to put the plot off one more second. What were they getting wrong about the horror movies?
They were just talking about recent horror movies that came out. A guy said he hadn't been in theaters. He did say something negative about a movie, and I couldn't gather what movie it was.
Oh, damn it.
But based on his description, I was like, no, that was a good movie. He doesn't understand. I just immediately, if someone starts talking about a horror movie and I don't agree with their opinion, I assume they're talking about dog soldiers, and they're wrong.
Oh, they're wrong. Yeah.
I don't know what he was talking about, but I remember just being like, I thought in my head, I was like, does he not understand it? I was like, it's fine. I don't understand most things. At the end, I surmised that I would probably enjoy these people's company. And they probably didn't mean anything negative by it. So I think that they're probably okay people. Especially he had one of them who liked horror movies, and he talked about it very emphatically. He had said that he hadn't been out to the theaters in over a year. Yeah. So I was like, oh, he probably is respectful of masks and like might not want to be outside doing stuff. So I'm just gonna like err on the side of they were not being mean. I do that with most people, though. What was your experience at the theater? You said you also had a group of...
It was just... So, okay, I go to a theater in the next town over because it is always empty, and that's fucking beautiful. Rules. I love it so much. Like, I went to see Barbie opening week alone in the theater. Like, nobody goes to this theater, and I don't understand why, because the chairs are comfortable. They're like, they aren't recliner, but they're better than like the normal foldy down ones.
Yeah.
Wait, are they recliner? Have I ever tried? No, they're not. They're not. But it's similar to an
It's still comfortable
Alamo
chairs.
experience.
Okay, gotcha.
So, order food and drinks at your table with the little button. It's nice. And I love the whole theater because they've got huge old movie posters in the lobby and along the hallways. It's so cool. You've been there. I've taken you to this theater.
Right when you said that, when you said pressing the button for the food, I was like, because they have like,
the one.
What is it? Rosemary's Baby popcorn or something where they put rosemary in the popcorn or something?
Yes, but I've never seen that again. But you know what I think
Then
might have
that one
happened?
time that we went.
Yeah, I think what might have happened is that we had like a Jack in the Shining experience. Like we went to the Shining bar somehow and got Rosemary's Popcorn Baby, which they're like
discontinued.
Why we haven't served that in 50 years. Yeah, so this theater's over there. They get new movies. It's always cold. Other theaters in Colorado are always fucking hot. And I
do not like that.
Hate it. So I got to go to this one where it's cold and it's wonderful. But I have become spoiled and I'm always alone. And so there were 3 other groups of people in this movie theater. And I was like, leave. This is mine though. And I thought I was going to have a problem with one group because they would not stop talking through the trailers. And I was like, I'm going to have to fight these people. I don't know if I'm ready for that. But they ended up being quiet and so did everybody else. So it ended up not being a problem at all. But I was very spoiled for a brief moment in time. Months. It wasn't brief. Like a year. I've gone to this theater for movies and never have anybody else there.
You also chose some weird movies.
I have. I've chosen one weird movie. Thorns.
Yeah.
Which we recorded an episode where I talked shit about this movie.
Yeah.
We'll see if it gets released, and if it doesn't, join our Patreon.
I tried to describe that movie to someone, to Ryan. I tried to talk to Ryan about it, and I was like, Kelly saw this really weird movie, and I was like, it doesn't feel like it should have been released in theaters, but it was. But it also probably shouldn't be released on anything else.
No. Why was that movie so bad? How did it get made? How did this get made? Maybe they'll do an episode. Oh my God. Okay. So the story of Late Night with the Devil. Documentary structure, found footage structure, but no shaky cam or anything, right? Like they were filming a TV show, so don't worry about motion sickness.
Oh, yeah.
It focuses on the host of this late night TV show, Jack Delroy, who is played by
David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, I think so.
I did look it up before this.
I'm proud of you, and thank you, because I only read it.
I have gone down a rabbit hole on watching stuff with him today because of this movie.
He's so interesting, and I'm excited to talk more about him.
Okay.
So yes,
let's get through the plot.
Let's get through the plot. Focused on Jack Delroy, host of this late night talk show. He was pretty well loved. Like his audience loves him. He's got this like. They even call it out in the movie. He's got this aw shucks Midwestern, like wholesome, corn-fed charm to him. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he is very, very, very focused on success. He wants to drive the numbers up on his show. And this is still like people tuning in live to TV, right? So this movie takes place in sweeps week, where ratings are so important. And so they're gunning for the number 1 spot. And this is after Late Night with Jack Delroy has been sort of falling off in terms of popularity. And so they're pulling out all the stops for this live broadcast on Halloween of 1977, focusing on the occult, trying to get viewers. And so they've got their live studio audience, and they've got 3 guests coming on the show. We've got Christu.
Oh, Christu.
Who is a big Uri Geller type. So he comes out, he's doing the, crossing over with John Edwards thing. He's essentially cold reading people, figuring out how to, say a name, see who reacts in the audience type stuff, and then, tell them their great aunt says hello. But then he very clearly gets like a real message from beyond the grave, which is very startling, and pops off the show with a bang. And so, great for viewers, right? Then the next guest is something.
A skeptic? I don't know. He's a
skeptic, something Haig, who is clearly based on Randy, Dr. Randy. I forget his first name.
Phil. No, I'm just kidding.
Could be. I don't know. Hold on. It's in my notes. James Randi.
James. Okay.
Who, you know what? I don't think that calling him doctor is correct. He was, in real life, he was an ex-magician who was very skeptical and set out to disprove a lot of, anything really. Charlatans is who he thinks he's disproving, including Uri Geller. And he's well known for being a fucking curmudgeon, just like this character in the movie, Haig. In fact, Haig, physically looks like him. They were...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very specifically doing a Uri Geller.
Yeah.
This guy. He famously did the same thing that Haig does in the movie, which is if you can prove irrefutably that you have some sort of quote unquote magic power, then I will write you a check for an outlandish amount of money. James Randi made that deal in real life. And if I'm remembering correctly, not to plug Debut Buddies again, but James Randi was one of the skeptics around Ted Sirios, who performed Thoughtography. Whatever. We don't need to get into that.
To plug, we did talk about Thoughtography over on Debut Buddies if you guys want to check that out.
Ooh, it's spooky and interesting.
After this episode.
Oh my God, it might be.
Ooh.
So look forward to it. Like and subscribe. And then the big headliner of Night Owls with Jack Delroy is Joan. What is it?
You just said a bunch of names that I didn't even know. June.
God damn it. June and Lily.
Yeah.
So June is a parapsychologist who is studying and also caring for Lily, who is the sole survivor of a satanic cult who committed mass suicide in a ritual. And she also is possessed. And this is a very interesting representation of it, in that whatever is possessing her, we call Mr. Wriggles, because it wriggles around in her mind. That's what she said in the movie. That wasn't me being astute in any way.
I may have not. That might be when my nubbin fell out.
That's probably when your nubbin fell out.
Oh no, was it Mr. Wiggles' fault?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Oh God.
All of these movies are about the dangers of content creation. So we're being punished for creating content.
True.
Yeah, they have a very interesting relationship. I think that June should not be both mother and studier to Lily, but that's neither here nor there. Lily is put into a trance, and Mr. Wriggles comes out, and shit pops off. And then, we get the skeptic trying to disprove what we just saw in a very compelling way. And then we're able to...
They're worms.
Very compelling. Worms. It's very Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt gross.
Yeah.
And Cronenberg makes me feel gross.
It was big time body horror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Blech. Anyway.
And I'm sort of glossing over the end there in case you're still listening. Go watch the movie.
Yeah, you should watch the movie. Yeah.
That's okay. Which part do you want to dive into first? I know.
There is a lot to this movie. I just want to say first and foremost, I thought the acting in this movie was superb. Like
So
it was
good.
phenomenal.
So good.
Especially from David Dastmalchian.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was phenomenal, and I cannot wait to I enjoyed him in other roles previously, but he has never been a leading man in anything that I have been aware of.
No,
and
not that
I
I've
would
seen.
love to see him as a leading man in literally everything that I watch from now on.
Yep.
So if he could always be front and center, but did you know, you probably do, how he got chosen for this film?
Yes.
I know. You can tell
I know. Okay, so, well, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So this movie had sort of a fits and starts trying to get created. And so it had been sort of backburnered. Like people had read the screenplay and people loved it, of course, because it's
great.
Tight. It is so good. And it just sort of it fell between the cracks, I think in part because of COVID. And so
Yeah, that's fair.
during COVID, David Dastmalchian, did I do it right?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't know. Mr.
Don't ask
David.
me. I'm not the person.
Jack Delroy wrote an article for Fangoria because he is like an old time horror fan from way back. And so he wrote an article for Fangoria specifically about regional horror hosts. And I'm having trouble finding it. I can't find it on.
I also tried to find it. I can't find it either.
It
so
might
I don't
be
know.
Physical.
We need the printed. Yeah.
We need the printed. So listeners, if you have a bead on this, I would love to read this article. Mm-hmm. So he wrote this about regional horror hosts because that used to be a thing on TV. Like I want that again. I want that back.
Yeah.
And I guess Joe Bob Briggs does have he's an old school horror TV host, and he does have a horror show on Shudder that is live, and they'll do or sometimes live, and they'll do stuff around Halloween, especially. So I guess that still exists in some ways. And then the writers and directors, brothers, Colin and Cameron, didn't write down their last name. Doesn't matter. Colin and Cameron. Cairns.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Saw the article and were like, we already like him, and like reading this, he gets it. So let's contact him, see if he wants to do the movie. And they sent him a lookbook to convey like the vibe of the movie that was made to look like a 70s TV guide. Ooh. And I want that too. I want that too. I need to find that. Put that up for auction.
Yeah. I will pay so much money.
Oh gosh. And so like what a serendipitous way for this movie to proceed. Like it needed to be delayed so that David could write this article and be found and matched with the movie.
I honestly don't know if this movie could have been what it was without him.
He's so like subtle.
Yeah.
Which is not something that you really think about for horror movies. But like he commits to that aw shucks persona. And then every so often you see him get like a little too excited for the numbers. Like over something that you shouldn't be excited about, right? Mm-hmm. Like the psychic on the show after he has his what looks like a real contact with somebody who has passed. He ends up having to be taken to the hospital, but he passes away en route. And there's like a little moment backstage, like during commercial break, where Jack Delroy is like, just one little line where he's got a little bit of a smile, excited about what that's going to mean for ratings during sweeps week. And it's like, oh, that's not even like a huge plot point. It's not this like big moment. It's not like a shocking reveal or anything. It feels very authentic. You're so right that the performances are so good.
And everything he's done prior to this, like I've only seen him do parts where he doesn't have a lot of dialogue or doesn't have a lot. And like they use him as like a creepy side character, but he didn't give off super creepy vibes to me in this. I like believed him and I was like, I will follow you, sir. I will watch you every night. You will be my Johnny Carson for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was so excited about him. And I think that, and I don't want to like disparage the writing or the creation of it, because everything about it was beautiful. It was so well done. It was so well shot. I have so many positive things to say about it, but I think that's what drove it home. I think if they had any other actor, or if they had done it with anybody else, this would have been probably a horror movie that was put on the shelf that no one got like super excited about. But I think all of it together was just like the perfect storm.
So
I'm so glad that they got him and that he got them. Like it's a together thing. Like it's just perfect. And I didn't know that about the lookbook, so I'm so happy that you described the story. That's so exciting. I love that so much.
I also think, so this movie is set in the 70s, and so we get a lot of like 70s cheese, but the movie isn't cheesy or campy. Oh, well, I guess maybe it's a little campy.
A little bit. But not overtly. It doesn't try. It has campy moments, but it's not. I don't think it's made to be a campy movie.
No. And you can tell because everybody plays it so straight. Like everybody is playing it for like high tension, like Exorcist style performances in this like brightly colored and illuminated TV show set. Like it's so interesting. I thought that was incredible. And I think that they benefited by not casting huge household names.
Agreed.
Because it's easy to just believe that like, I'm watching a documentary. Like this happened in the 70s. Except the picture was too crisp. It's too crisp.
That's true.
Could see that HD 4K UDF
head splitting lights.
Bullshit. Yeah. Also the head splitting lights. Yeah.
The other part that I really wanted to talk about, because I went down a rabbit hole today, is about Bohemian Grove.
Did you also go down
Okay, let's talk about it.
Not today. I'm at the bottom of the rabbit hole of Bohemian Grove. Like I got so excited. I'm gonna let you finish.
Right when the movie came up, you were like, "Oh my god, they're talking about
yes." Like they start talking about Bohemian Grove, and I lost it. And then the James Randi character, and I lost it. This was such a little like feast for me. This movie was made for me. Like I got out and I wanted to text you, but I didn't want to do it over text. I wanted to save it for the pod, but I texted my friend Savannah and I was like, listen to all these Easter eggs. I'm losing it. So excited. Okay. Tell me everything. Go on.
Well, it sounds like you know way more than me, but I did go down a weird, because I was like, well, I mean, currently there's a lot going on with similar things to Bohemian Grove. Diddy's in trouble. Just in general, things going on that are like stuff is happening in the world that we don't know about. Bohemian Grove is one of them. But Bohemian Grove wasn't made for the movie. It's a real thing that exists, and people are just chill that it exists. And like, even if it's not weird stuff going on, it's weird enough that it's uncomfortable that it exists in general. There was a TikTok conspiracy that someone posted that was like, I was watching the movie. There were like 9 different studios attached to the movie. And they were like, now I understand, because the funding had to be in pieces because no large studio would touch it because of Bohemian Grove, likely. And I was like, that might be it. And then I just went down this whole rabbit hole. And there's this like guy who's a boxer who said that he was invited to Bohemian Grove. And then and Joe Rogan is really obsessed with it. But at some point he turned and is less obsessed with it. Is he part of it now?
Did he get initiated? Know. Alex Jones tried to break in like 20 years ago.
He did go in and he got a camera.
He did, but it wasn't during the big summer festival thing. Oh. What do they call it? The summer encampment? I can't remember what they call it. But where all the sacrifices apparently happen. We should tell the listeners what the legend of Bohemian Grove.
No, we'll just let them figure it out on their own. We all went down this rabbit hole.
What if our first episode back gets us like blacklisted?
And then
do you want to explain what it is?
I don't know a ton. It sounds like it's a camp. It's an all men's camp. Women aren't allowed. However, they did have a lawsuit in which women could work at the camp that they won. And they said women had to be allowed to work at the camp. Oh. I later watched TikToks of a girl who worked at the camp. And she was like, she said things and she couldn't say things. And I was like, this is making me really uncomfortable about what happens at this camp. Yeah. But it's just a weird camp where they do a bunch of rituals, but it's also like drama kids, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they do a lot of plays.
They do one big play every year. So
cute.
So cute. And the members of the club write it. They have to be playwrights. It's not like one standard play that they present every year. Every year it's an original piece written by
beautiful.
Presidents have been in this club. So it's ostensibly a secret society.
In Hollywood. Actors. Just important
anybody famous. Yeah.
Kid Rock. Sorry.
Oh.
That was one of them. Joe Rogan talked to Alex Jones about it. Joe Rogan talked to Kid Rock about it. Joe Rogan was really obsessed with it, but then weirdly got less obsessed with it later. And I was like, you should still be obsessed with it.
But like Nixon was in it. I don't know, a bunch.
Reagan was in it.
Reagan was in it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? He was an actor. That's a perfect union for him.
Schwarzenegger?
I believe it.
Yeah. I can't remember who Clinton. They said I watched one with a guy who didn't know he was being recorded, and he had said that he had seen Bill Clinton there, but he was like a regular member. But he didn't describe what they did.
Nobody describes what they do
because you're not allowed to talk about what happens at the
fight club. It's a fight club. No, here are the things. Here are the rumors around it. It's pretty much, imagine something that would be a claim during the Satanic Panic. And that's what we're dealing with here. So orgies, blood sacrifices, a lot of pretty nasty stuff around children and babies. And it's all in pursuit of success. So it's a perfect fit for Jack Delroy, whose main goal is
to be
success. Yeah. But you went down a rabbit hole today. Did you find any more?
Yeah, there was like
facts?
But I feel like you probably have already seen these, but there was like a YouTube video where someone broke into the camp and he like found out that the owl was hollow and that you can walk up it and do that stuff. And then they found they went into one of the rooms and there was a
Wait, one of the rooms where?
It was like a gathering room. It wasn't like a camp. And they're all split up into camps. So you have specific camps you're a part of.
Yeah.
But he went into one room and it had Josh Peck, the name Josh Peck written on a whiteboard.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, what is that? Is he part of them? But then
is this related to the Nickelodeon stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, everything. Oh no, conspiracy Chelsea's coming out.
That's okay. Welcome.
Everything's connected.
There was a year where my New Year's resolution, which I never set, but for some reason, this one year, I was like, this is the year I just get weird. This is the year that I like dive into all the alien stuff. And I'm like, yes, conspiracies, ghosts. I'm just getting weird. And I never stopped doing that. So welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's a big core of it. It's sometimes tangled up in the Illuminati. It's definitely tangled up in the like pedophilia rings in Hollywood. And all of this, of course, is unsubstantiated. Here, I haven't watched any videos.
Everything we're saying is allegedly.
Blanket allegedly.
Allegedly.
I haven't watched any videos on this. I always just read. So
I just watch videos.
That's perfect. We're covering so much more ground that way.
Yours has context. Mine just has visuals. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Great.
Okay.
That's great. We'll put it together like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Perfect.
And so they're in Late Night with the Devil. It is very subtle the way they just call it the Grove in the movie. And it's sort of like it's mentioned like up at the top. And then there's a weird line from Mr. Wriggles.
Yeah.
And then the very end of the movie sort of reignites all of that in a way.
And then it's so... That's where I think it goes into campy really hard at the end. And I was like, I was like, I don't know if I should be having this much fun.
I had so much
at the end,
fun.
That's where I was like, this is a fun movie. This isn't... That movie didn't... Okay, this is why I watched The Cleansing Hour. I didn't get scared. I just had fun. Like, this movie is just fun.
So much fun. It's one of the few movies where when it ends, I'm like, no, come back. Like,
and
tell me more.
Like, you know me, I'm super afraid of possessions. Like, that is one of my top tier things. I was worried going into this movie, and I was like, I have to see it first showing so it's still light out when I leave. I have to be comfortable. It's fine. So then, like, I go in and, like, I watch it and I'm like, oh, that's so good. I have to watch another movie.
Yes.
It's similar. Like, it was so great.
But yeah, at the end, it's like an acid trip.
Yeah.
Like, it gets so strange. I mean, and that's essentially what it was, I guess. But when all those people in owl costumes are like hooting, good. I was like, what are we doing?
Can't. Yeah.
Love this.
Or like Halloween costumes. I was like, I get it that you guys are all members, but this is your choice. This is what you've decided.
So funny.
How is anybody supposed to take you seriously? Even demons. Like, how do they take you seriously? Demons.
And you know what? Oh, no. Oh, Conspiracy Kelly is about to be here. So, the biggest critique that I have seen for this movie over and over is that the end doesn't work for them. It doesn't, quote, stick the landing. And at first,
I loved the end.
I loved the ending. And so at first I was like, I don't think that they understood. But now I'm wondering, are they in on it too? Are they going to Bohemian Grove?
Ooh.
Because critics are still part of Hollywood.
True.
I do remember when the Grove starts popping up, watching this movie, I was like, how did they get this made? But you're right. All of those 8 studios.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the people in the theater with me. So the way that you know it's like 8 studios is because it's like 2 minutes of studio titles.
I was like, I have not heard of 70% of these studios. And we watched some horror movies made by very independent studios, and I have not heard of most of these studios. One of them, I think I even said the name out loud, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
One of them was like Spooky Ghost. It was oh God, I'll have to look into that later. But the guy I was sitting not next to, like
near,
closest to me, every time a new studio came up after like the 5th one, he was like throwing his hands in the air, like exasperated. I was like, just wait. The movie will be here soon.
They gave them money. It's okay. We will be there.
Alternately, we're on a prank show and they're going to see how many studio intros they can show us before somebody gets
a half
up.
An hour worth before I leave, because I'm like, this better be fucking good.
Okay, here's how I know that I would just sit in the dark and watch them all is I went to like a Fathom event showing of Frankenstein, the stage production with Benedict Cumberbatch and I don't remember who the other person was. And those are like simulcast. So you've got the one shot.
Yes.
It's like 7 p.m. or whatever. And so we're in the theater and it's just me and like 3 other people. This was not at my special favorite theater. This was at the normal theater that does Fathom events. And it's the time that the movie's supposed to start. Lights are still on. Nothing's playing. Oh. And I'm just sitting there and I can hear this older couple next to me. And the man is clearly like, I need to go talk to somebody. And the wife is like, don't sit here. Don't get up. And he finally goes and gets up and they were like, oh, we forgot to play it. Like, yep. We just missed the first part of the movie. Yep. So that's how I know that I would just sit there
and watch. Yep.
Studio openings for an hour and a half. That happens a lot
with Fathom events because when I worked at the movie theater, that was a thing. People would come out and be like, is this supposed to be going? And we'd be like, yes, it is. It is. It definitely is.
Sorry.
I'm glad they exist, though.
Me too. Yeah. But I bet that they're empty a lot of the time. Like, how many people are going to see the opera?
Actually, I have a friend who religiously goes and sees the operas.
But that's one friend. You know what I mean?
It was also in Seattle. So I think that she said it was pretty busy when she went.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But she even sent me a link. She was like, oh, you can watch them online during COVID. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Huh. So I watched Carmen via Fathom Events. Live stream. Oh, yeah, they were so great during COVID. They just let that be out there for free so people could enjoy and stuff together. Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
A+ for Fathom Events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what they do. I like what they put out in the world. What was your favorite part?
Ooh. I'm only thinking about the worms. I can only think of the worms.
The worms was incredibly intense. I was like, why is this happening? What's happening right now?
That's definitely a huge shift. So I did like that the guests on the talk show correspond perfectly to the 3-act structure.
Oh, yeah.
So like each one ups the ante. Mm-hmm. So fun. I did love that Randy. No, sorry, that's the real guy's name. That's the person in real life, James Randi.
The Randy.
The Randy.
No one can see me. I put it in quotes.
I did love the worms that he was able to hypnotize people to demonstrate a way that that this all could be fabricated. And then I liked the part where it threw to earlier footage, both the earlier footage of the worms portion where there were no worms and it was all hypnosis, and the earlier levitation possession scene. Like, I just thought that was a really clever way to do that. But that is Ghostwatch. Oh. This movie is Ghostwatch. It's Ghostwatch. So let me tell you a little bit about that before we get into the cleansing hour. Mm-hmm. So Ghostwatch is, like I mentioned earlier, news hour. And in this film, we've got an anchor in the studio who is, and it's in the 90s. So they're taking calls from viewers. So, but so it's not Twitter. It's like an actual phone bank of people answering phones. And while this is happening, we've got our field reporters at an allegedly haunted house in the neighborhood. They're doing a ghost hunt, and it's single mom, 2 kids. If you're familiar with the Enfield haunting, it's essentially that story, which is a British haunting that I really like. Allegedly real haunting. This one in Ghostwatch is fabricated, and the reporters are there talking to the kids, hanging out with the kids, investigating the ghosts, collecting stories. And it starts off like a normal ghost hunt, like really slow, nothing's happening. And over the course of the evening, things start to occur. And while they are starting to occur, this is all live and viewers at home are watching it, and they're calling in and being like, I saw something in the corner of the room. Like, it's very spooky. And they do this. They like, okay, let's go back and watch it, like live reviewing. And I just saw so much of that movie in Late Night with the Devil. But here's the thing about Ghostwatch.
Yeah.
It is, it was actually aired on the news hour. Like,
oh, as if it was going to be news?
As if it was news.
Oh, that's
like,
terrifying.
It was known reporters. The family was actors. I think that some of the reporters were actors, but like it was people that, you know, the UK
yeah.
knew. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And for a long time, this movie could not be found because it was considered like pretty distasteful. It was sort of like War of the Worlds in that it caused an amount of panic among people. So while it was being
where
aired,
did you watch it?
Oh, it's on Shudder now.
Oh, okay.
But for a long time, I couldn't find it. I watched it on one of those websites that you go to stream something for free, and you're like, oh, I'm getting a virus. Like, that's where I watched it first. But you can get it in reputable channels now. And there's a documentary about it now, which I haven't seen. But here's what I do know is that people were actually calling in to the news station, like freaking out. The calls that we see in the movie are scripted, and they like heighten the tension very effectively. And there is at least one death as a result of it. Like, it was clearly somebody who was already very ill. And but he was watching this, and he thought he was seeing proof of ghosts. Yeah. But in this movie, this is another tidbit that Late Night with the Devil very clearly took inspiration from, which is that there are little glimpses of the ghost throughout that you don't that aren't called attention to. Yeah. So in Late Night with the Devil, we see glimpses of Jack Delroy's wife who has passed away. And I clocked some of them, but I've read about some others. So I'm going to have to watch this movie and catch some more. And I rewatched Ghostwatch the other day, and there are more glimpses in that too that I hadn't seen the first time. So I'm just so excited to like keep my eyes peeled. I was like rewinding, like, did I just see a thing? Oh, I did. So fun. But that's very similar. Especially like Late Night with the Devil was advertised as fiction, of course. But the idea of like a late night talk show host accidentally airing a possession and murders is like feels like an escalation of the idea of Ghostwatch.
Do you think a sequel to Late Night with the Devil would be like a 90s Jerry Springer type?
Oh God. It's like it's Rosemary, and it's like, you are not the father. Oh, that was Maury, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was my bad.
They did it sometimes on Springer too, I think. So
yeah, they must have. Oh wait, there's a fun fact about Das Malchen I wanted to share with you.
Oh yeah, please. So, I want every fun fact about him.
Okay, then I have a handful.
Yay.
So he struggled with addiction, heroin specifically, and it like almost ruined his life. He's been clean and sober for years.
Proud of him.
So proud of him.
Yeah.
And he's just lived such a storied life. I want to learn everything about him. So for a while, he was a professional fisherman in Alaska. Okay. He was also a circus performer.
That sounds right.
That does sound right.
That checks out. Yeah.
And a playwright, of course. Mm-hmm. You can see it in his face that he's like a writer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that vibe. Yeah.
I had never... So I recognized him, but I couldn't place him. And I had to go through his IMDb to figure out where I knew him from. He had a small part in that new Flanagan movie, The Boogeyman.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Small part. I guess that's how I recognized him.
Was
so
he
I
in
went
the beginning-ish? Whenever.
Yeah. He's the crazed patient who shows up. Yeah. So just in it very, very briefly.
He was also in The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I think I thought I saw him. He may have been in something before that, but I've seen him periodically after that, but he is one of the most memorable faces. Like, once you see him once, he's just, like, cemented in there.
Yeah.
And to know he is just, like, I don't know, everything I watched with him, I was like,
yeah.
He's just so great.
I love him. He's got a new fan in me. He had been in exactly one thing prior to The Dark Knight, and this is what I wanted to bring up initially. Early Edition, which for whatever reason...
Was that the one about the paper that told people that stuff was going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm so happy.
Which comes up on this show so much for a show that I do not remember very well. Oh, God. That just delighted me. Oh, wait. No, I'm forgetting my favorite fun fact about him. Hold on. Okay, so I read a little interview, and one of the questions was, do you believe in ghosts? And he said yes, and launched into a story about the spook light in Missouri.
Oh, yay!
He's from Kansas, I think. And so he was like, we would drive down to Spooklight Road in Missouri and watch the Spooklight. And I was like, I've been there. I've done that. I've driven to Spooklight Road to watch the Spooklight. Just so excited.
Spooklight buddies.
Spooklight buddy.
Aww.
Happy Spooklight. Okay. I think that's all of my fun facts about this movie.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
I'm so glad.
Do the directors do much else aside from this? I guess what is the question I would have. I think I looked it up, but I was not.
I didn't recognize any of it. They have done a couple horror movies, though. Oh, and here is the thing. They're Australian, and a lot of these actors are Australian. And I was like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We got to keep an eye on Australia and their horror movies because they are making some good shit down there.
Completely read on that. Amazing movie. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Oh, the last thing we have to talk about very quickly, we have to say we do not support using AI in film.
Oh, God, yeah.
They did use AI in the the cards.
The interstitials, yeah. The studio is experiencing error. We'll be back in a second.
Yeah, and it is things. They did this. This did come out in March 2023. It premiered at South by Southwest, so it was prior to the writer's strike and all of the talk about excluding AI from your films. So it was prior to that happening. However, the filmmakers, so I'm assuming the directors, did come back and say, I don't think it's a big deal. We need to chill out about it. Which
they did say that.
Don't love that. But this was maybe outdated information.
So I did see that. Let me explain what I saw, and maybe we can piece this together. So I saw them explaining, we didn't use it to do any set deck. It's not for any of the effects. There are we didn't reproduce anybody's likeness. It's just these essentially title cards, and our editors edited them further. And so it was like a rough draft. I
guess I could understand that. I think my concern would be their editors edited them and they didn't have a graphic designer create them. So it is removing the job of graphic designers. So that is where I give pause. I'm excited to see what these directors, writers, these filmmakers come out with next. And I just hope that they take this as a learning and then they remove the AI in the future.
I hope so too. Instances. Yeah, I agree entirely.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I don't know. I didn't watch anything. I didn't want to slander them, essentially.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like that's good to have at the end and not at the entire episode. Yeah. It was it is a small piece of this film, but I feel like it would be not, we wouldn't be super considerate if we didn't consider this in our
You're so right. I'm glad that you brought it up.
Commentary about it. But we don't want to use AI, even if it's for graphic design, because of the fact that that is the one job that you do not need to take away from people. Take away the jobs that are automated. Take away the tech jobs. I want to be unemployed.
Okay,
take it away from me. Take away the jobs that aren't for people like pursuing their creativity and like doing something that they enjoy doing, and I guess people enjoy doing tech.
Yeah, some people do. Lunatics.
But I just like that is one thing where I'm like, people that reproduce art using AI is like incredibly unsettling to me. As the partner of an artist.
Agree. I'm not a partner of an artist, and I don't care for it. But even stuff that can be automated, I was reading.
Fix the driving. Fix our fucking driving.
No, I don't want them touching that. They should absolutely not be touching that. Sorry, I'm a software developer. I know software developers. We should not be doing it. I know the guys who are right now writing chip software for driving cars. And I have seen them blackout drunk. I have seen them giving themselves brain damage. And I'm supposed to get into a car that they designed? No.
We should do just the simple automated tasks, figure out stuff, make the lights work better in cities. Traffic stops better. That's it. Let's focus on that, and let's let AI do other stuff, but don't take art away from artists.
I definitely don't take art away from artists, but even that is a slippery slope. Like if we start automating categorizing shots from the movie, then now we're taking a job away from an assistant director. And that's how people get their foot in the door to like be
I
fully,
agree. Don't take that away from them either. I think that somebody like it could be used to I don't know, that is a slippery slope, because it could be used to enhance stuff, because I think Dune also used it to make their eyes blue and ensure that it was tracking their eyes correctly, and that was all AI. And I don't know, like the other option is have a human watch their eyes and click on all of the pixels as it's going in every screen. Yeah, so like it makes sense in some instances, but when it's creating wholly new content,
that's easily black and white.
Yeah.
Right. To me.
I feel like
with my current information.
And at the time it wasn't that outlandish, and there weren't contracts being negotiated to take AI away from stuff. And they're not using the likeness of someone, but as someone who is with someone who makes vintage Halloween shit, that was like, I'm not expecting them to call him up to do it, but there are so many graphic designers that love making vintage Halloween stuff. So that would have been a dream job for someone, and that just didn't end up coming to fruition. But it's also like, they didn't get a ton of funding. They had 50 studios behind them offering very little amounts to make the movie. So like, I understand that they were constrained, and then that was an issue. So I don't want to fault them. I do kind of, but not necessarily. I think that if they have learned, good. If they haven't, then like if the next movie they come out with has a ton of AI stuff in it,
that'll be a problem.
I'm going to be very upset. Yeah. If now they just continue to make movies, they don't have AI placards or like place cards, great. That's all I have to say about that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely disappointing.
Yeah. Other than that, great movie. Even then, the placards did look kind of cool and they made sense for it, but I would have preferred having a graphic designer go in and make it. Because then the skeleton wouldn't have 7 fingers.
Did it have 7 fingers?
I don't know. Probably not. Maybe.
Probably. I don't know. A year ago, we were still in the dearth
fingers were the weird ones.
Or I guess not dearth of fingers. We were drowning in fingers.
Too many
March of 23.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk about the other movie?
Yes.
The Cleansing Hour.
The Cleansing Hour.
I don't know if I'm going to say a lot of fun facts about it, because I don't have a ton of fun facts. Just that it's a fun ride. It's funny. It's funny. Stupid. Not completely stupid, but there are parts where I was like, that's so dumb. I love this.
I know.
That was the dumbest joke you could have made.
Was it
here.
the pencil?
Good job.
What was the pencil the dumbest part? It might have been.
There were just some parts where I'm just like, what? I'm like, that is a joke. Okay. But once again, actors did a phenomenal job in that movie.
So good. Especially that gal.
Yeah, she did great.
Oh my God. First of all, I was in love with her.
That's fair.
You know, like, I loved her. And then she did such a good job of being possessed.
And then going back and forth from possessed and unpossessed.
Going back and forth.
So good.
Oh my God.
And it has our boy Kyle Gallner from Smile.
D'Artagnan.
Love him.
He's still got the D'Artagnan facial hair in this.
He does not give up on that. So
he's really committed to that.
Yeah. And the other guy who was the long-haired guy, he's in the show 911. And I watched that show. Is he in the Texas one or the regular one? I don't know. There are 2 different seasons, and I've watched both of them. He's in the regular one. He's in the regular one. But that's the one with Angela Bassett, so you can't fault it. So
love her.
So great.
Okay.
And so that's how I knew him. So he's a firefighter in my mind.
Oh.
So immediately when I saw him, I was like, firefighter, what does he do?
And then he took his top off, and you were like, that's the torso of a firefighter.
Well, he's like the opposite character of what he is in that show. So I want to give credit to him for doing both roles very well. Because I was like, nice. He's a lot grosser. I wonder if he's more like this person. So in the TV show, he's a single dad because his wife had passed. And his kid I don't know if he has MS, but he has some kind of... I think a muscle disease where he can't walk very well. So it's about like he's a single father to this kid, and like he's just the most loving person that's dealing with the struggle, which is the complete opposite of the character who is just a complete like playboy, awful priest, fake priest,
quote unquote priest
in this movie. And all of them do a great job, and the jokes are so funny, and they hit so well. And I was like, I don't know if I was just in a really good mood because of Late Night with the Devil, but I was like, I can see how these jokes wouldn't hit, but they are hitting so hard right now.
They hit. This is the one that this is the Cleansing Hour. This is the one about a live streamed, I guess, weekly exorcism show, which seems like a high rate of exorcisms. But yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all a scam until it isn't. And he's such a skis ball in this. And that's not a word I say, but it feels like the writers would have put this in the movie.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
And I would have been like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, skis ball. That's correct.
Yeah.
There's one moment in this movie that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And it is toward the end. So we've got dead bodies around.
Yeah.
We've got, I don't think that any betrayal has happened yet.
Okay.
So that's where, but fingers are gone.
Okay.
Fingers are gone.
I'm there.
And so D'Artagnan is tending to the missing fingers, or I guess the hand that is missing the fingers. The fingers are gone. And I don't know what they said. Like, I can't remember the dialogue, but it made them both laugh, which is such an interesting moment to put a laugh in. Yeah. Like, it wasn't funny to us, but it was funny to them. And I was like, even that's really realistic, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially if you've been friends with somebody since you were children, like, you're gonna say the thing.
In a terrible moment, you're still gonna make jokes. Like, that's the only way to get through it.
Yep.
Especially if you suffered from tragedy earlier.
Yes.
You know that's the only way to get through more tragedy is by cracking jokes.
This movie, so I had seen The Cleansing Hour.
Yeah.
And when I was seeing the ads for Late Night with the Devil, I was like, this looks like a ripoff of The Cleansing Hour, which wasn't good. And I was just wrong. I was wrong on both counts. It was a ripoff of Ghostwatch.
Maybe
and Cleansing Hour is
good. Sometimes a movie that you watch at a different time is not good. Yeah. And you have to have experienced different things because you had to experience Late Night with the Devil in order to
appreciate Cleansing Hour.
Yeah. They came out in the wrong order, I think.
Maybe that's true. And
I hope it's getting a resurgence. I bet everyone who worked on that film was like, well, that movie went to the pot. And now everyone's like, this movie's the best. And they're like, oh my God, what's happening?
Thank you, guys. I hope so. I hope people are watching it. I also wondered, the Big Bohemian Grove event is in the summer, June or July. Oh. So it's got to be July, right? Because that's when the solstice is. I don't know if they're tied up in the solstice, but Okay. You're right. Late June. I just wondered, like, are people going to read about Bohemian Grove after seeing this movie and then go try to storm the castle? Probably not. Probably not, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled.
There was a Screen Rant article when I was looking up stuff about the movies that said this is the best double feature. And I was like, I can attest to that organically. That they were like, I watched Late Night with the Devil and Cleansing Hour, and this is how I feel. God. And I was like, I'm so glad we both experienced it. Is a great combination. It is a fun ride. And I am excited to watch Ghostwatch. Like, this was such a fun, and I was so worried. I was like, oh no, it's going to give me anxiety. I'm going to feel weird. There's a possession in it. Had the opposite feeling, was like, I want to watch more possession movies. Let's keep this going. Let's ride this.
Oh my God.
But I don't know how long that's not going to last too long. I'm excited for our next
scary
movie, depending on how this goes. We're probably going to watch both of them. So we might end up doing 2 movies an episode on accident.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll give you a hint. Our next movies start with A's. Oh, they had a trailer for Longlegs. I think that's the part. The guy kept talking during the trailer for Longlegs. And he was like, oh, I think this is going to be okay. And I was like, it's from the greatest director of all time. I don't know if he's a good director, but I do know he's a great actor in the best movie ever made called Dead and Breakfast. And I was like, I can't just jump in and start inserting stuff into this conversation.
Excuse me, you're talking about Osgood Perkins? So...
He was like, oh, yeah, I thought Nicolas Cage was in this. And I was like, yeah, but that's not the reason we're watching this. I am also
just the cherry on top, sir.
Nick Cage is always the cherry on top, but it's got to have a good foundation.
Yeah, truly.
But he's been looking for good foundations lately, so A+ to Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's a big year for him.
Yeah. So happy.
Proud of him.
And so happy for us.
So happy for us.
So happy for us to get to watch the greatest in the greats.
Yeah. So Arcadia is one of the movies that we are considering for our next episode. That's the one with Nick Cage. The other is Abigail, Ballerina Vampire.
Yeah, Abigail. I'm so excited for Abigail.
I am too. Yeah. I can't wait.
Ready or Not is one of my favorite of the movies we've ever watched.
Oh,
so
agreed.
To see Abigail and everyone in that cast slaps.
Oh, I don't know them.
It's got Lisa Frankenstein in it.
Oh my God, I did not recognize her.
It's got I am having struggles with names. The girl that Melissa Barrera.
Oh my God, I did not recognize her either.
She's in it. So is Legion. I don't know. I can't. Dan Stevens. Whoa.
Wow.
He plays Legion in the show, but he's really great.
What show?
Legion.
Oh.
He doesn't play Legion. Legion is he plays not Legion.
Got it. Okay.
Or is he Legion? And then the other thing isn't Legion?
We are all Legion.
Anyway, Legion. And then we have, the guy that just passed that was on Euphoria.
Oh, I don't know about any of this. R.I.P.?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely R.I.P. He was really great. He was one of the most likable characters on the show. If not the most likable character on the show. Angus Cloud. Oh, yeah.
It's a good name. It's a strong name.
But he's in Abigail, and so is... Giancarlo Esposito. Matthew Good's in it? I feel like that's got to be
God,
a spoiler.
you love him.
Yeah. I do love him. A guy who kind of looks like Elon Musk. For a second, I was like, Ryan, is that Elon Musk? And he was like, Chelsea, no.
Listen to yourself.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm so excited about that movie. I don't think I've been... No, there are just so many good movies coming out. There are so many good movies coming out.
And like every 2 weeks for months, we've got something new coming out. Like this is the perfect time for our 2024 comeback.
We're going to be watching these.
Never show the monster, always show the monster.
Ooh, I'm excited. And that's why I'm excited about Longlegs is I don't know what monster. I know nothing. It's so vague for the trailer. Continue to keep it vague. I'm so excited.
Yep.
Keep that
keep
hype
it all
up,
vague.
man.
Yep. I keep it secret, keep it safe.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Perfect.
I did want to credit the practical effects artist for Late Night with the Devil. His name is Russell Sharp.
Oh, yeah.
He's
The Worm?
been in the makeup department for, yes, he did The Worm. I guess. Yeah, that was
Major
very
credit.
Cronenberg. So happy that they did practical effects for that. Like, that could have looked so bad. If that had been CG,
No.
like, it wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. So glad they did practical effects for that part. There are some CG effects later.
But even that's not terrible. I feel like it fits with what's going on.
I agree. Especially, like, so much of it was electricity. So, yeah.
They made it fit. Yeah.
You can do that with... You can do the electricity with the electricity. You know, you don't have to make practical lightning bolts.
You could try.
You can try, though.
It would just be cardboard with a light behind it.
Yeah, the head split looks good at the end of Late Night with the Devil. The deaths look good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hereditary yet?
No.
Okay. There's a thing that I think might have been like an homage to Hereditary. There are nods to big horror movies
I'll watch it this
movie.
weekend so I can.
It's a bummer. It's a big bummer. So only do it if you're prepared for that.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I watched this week I watched Split and Monkeyman.
What's Split?
It's the one with James McAvoy.
Oh, not a new one.
No,
I haven't seen that.
New.
Was it good? Okay.
I feel like it's exactly what I expected, no more, no less.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it. How was Monkeyman? Oh.
I like it, and I love Dev Patel. I have like a high regard for Dev Patel. I like the movie he made. I think it was the only thing I have to say about it is I feel like it was trying to say a lot, and it was not. I would have liked it as a series or something, like a mini series. Like I would have liked it in chunks than a full movie, because I feel like it was kind of like you could have separated it. It was very gory. It was very action packed. There was something that I did like about it, though. Oh yeah, I found out recently that it was sold to Netflix. And they were going to release it, and it was going to go direct to streaming. But Jordan Peele intervened and was like, this should be on a big screen, which I can understand why he said that. Like, I understand why, like, I audibly said, ugh, like more than a few times. And then I apologized to Ryan after, because I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know if I just haven't been in theaters enough, but I could not contain my, like,
yeah.
There was a lot of that movie made me more physically uncomfortable than all of the horror movies I've been watching.
Gore does that to me.
A lot of violence, a lot of gore.
Yeah, I don't like human on human violence.
Yeah, no.
I need a demon buffer.
Yeah, it was intense. It was an enjoyable movie in general. I would just have liked it in like pieces instead of all at once, I think.
Do you think that was because it was so much gore, or is that specifically because of, you said it was trying to say a lot of things? It
had a lot of, I think that there were pieces of it that might have been edited out for time, because it was a pretty long movie. It was over 2 hours. That I think it would have benefited from continuing to have, but I don't think I would have enjoyed sitting through a 3-hour stint. No. So I think if it was split up into 3 1-hour stints, I would have really enjoyed it. So that's kind of like, I think, where I saw that. But I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was incredibly well shot. And I thought like the visuals were other than the violent visuals, everything about it was like really good and really interesting. And yeah, I liked it. But I don't know if I would be like I don't know. My mom came by and she was like, oh, I want to watch that movie. I was like, I don't know if that's a movie for you. And like, as we were watching it, probably 20 minutes in, an older couple left the movie. Oh. And the old man said, I can't understand what they're saying. I was like, yeah, because it's not in English for all of it, man. Didn't you not know that going?
Actually, hold on. This is something I wanted to talk about with the cleansing hour.
Oh, yeah.
So the cleansing hour starts in Spanish. We're seeing an exorcism on the live show. Oh, yeah. Allegedly an exorcism on their live stream.
Is it in Spanish? Man, I don't pay. Portuguese?
It's so the rights are in Latin, but the family is Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And my subtitles just said speaking Spanish.
At the end, it did say demonic language for whenever, spoiler.
I guess that makes sense, though. Of course, that.
I would have just put Latin.
I don't know that the devil was speaking Latin.
I didn't know what he was speaking. I was like, well, okay.
Devil. He was speaking devil.
JoJo,
I liked that they went big.
Yeah.
They were like, it's the devil, baby.
Yeah. I loved that part of it. Just where it was like, oh, no, I'm not, I made the list. And I was like, oh,
shit.
I was like, man, you've been playing around with these. Do you need to play around? Like, could you have just done it? Like,
just do it.
There was a lot of being like, I know you pretended you could be defeated for a bit there, but did you even need to pretend? Like, is this fun?
Like, can't you just
do what you wanted to do?
Whatever. I guess I had fun watching it. Did you have to wait until the last 3 minutes of the stream? Well, he was trying to get the most people watching. Yeah.
You got to make sure the son of the president was really paying attention. That's fair.
God, that was a good joke. Was that a joke? I interpreted it as a joke.
I don't know what part of it wasn't a joke. Even the devil at the end, I was like, that's a pretty comedic looking devil.
And that was such whiplash. So speaking of practical effects, when he transforms into his devil form, that looked sick as hell. Yeah. Those practical effects where
his hands were like coming out.
His hands were coming out and then his head like folds up out of the guy. Like that looked sick. And then the camera comes around to the front where it's CGI
like,
devil. And you're
we
like,
were doing so good, man. We were doing so good.
Oh, God. It looked good for a second.
Yeah, that movie was good.
But not, apart from that, not overly CG.
Yeah, I think that like, I mean, they had like those weird dog things, but I don't think they showed them too quick. They made them move a lot, so it didn't like distract too much from it.
Though their mouths opened like tremors. And so I was distracted by that.
What if they were just giant worms? That would have been better.
God, they should have done worms. Why didn't they do worms?
Well, I was like, what is the, like, I don't know. I was like, oh, could it just possess anyone? Like, is there something that has to allow it to happen? Because they didn't address that, which, that's fine.
That's fine.
But
it's fine.
I was like, what is the logic in why it's choosing who it's choosing? And then at the end, you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Very truth or dare ending, though.
It was also very Thorns ending.
Oh, but yeah, I liked that. I didn't expect to like that movie as much as I did. But as I watched it, just slapped. Late Night with the Devil slapped. All slapping. This was a good.
All slaps.
This was a good watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Do the double feature that Chelsea did.
Yeah.
You know what? Do the triple feature with all three of them.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch
off a day. It's fun. I want to watch that documentary too. Do we have more to say?
I don't think I have anything else.
We did it. We did it.
Yay. Catch us next week talking about Don't know which one. Maybe both.
Real monsters.
I was always the red one. Which one would you say? Or I dressed up like Crom once.
That must have been exhausting.
I just had my hands up with eyeballs. Yeah.
Did you have fake armpit hair?
Fake.
Oh, sure. Well, because his juts out like a foot.
Fake. Yeah. Yeah, it was fake. Yeah.
No, I was a little red guy. The anxiety.
Oh,
he was very neurotic. That's me. That's me. Anyway, yeah. Come back in 2 weeks to talk about either Abigail or Arcadia.
Yeah.
N? With an N?
It might be with an N.
I don't know.
I don't know either. The Nicolas Cage movie that starts with an A.
Yes, not the play with a similar name that either has the N or the A in the opposite of the movie by Tom Stoppard. It's not that one.
But it will be the movie that comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, in the off weeks of Never Show the Monster, you can find us over on Debut Buddies, a podcast about firsts. And if you like the show, here, one episode back after our long, unintentional hiatus, you know, tell your friends and like and subscribe, rate and review.
Yeah.
5 stars, Apple Podcasts would help us so much. Yeah, I love you. And thanks for sticking around.
Yeah,
thanks for still being here when we got back. We're going to watch all the new movies. Come along. Watch them with us.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll
and
also
tell
do
us
that.
pairings.
Yeah.
I love good pairings. Yes. So if you're like, oh, this movie's coming out, I think a good pairing would be this. I want to hear it.
I agree. Happy Spookies?
Happy Spookies.
Yay!
Yay!